Apologies for the wind. I went for a walk and I thought I'd create a quick video. It is something about obviously the markets, and I touched on it previously on one of my other videos. Not that I expect this to be super important to everyone, but it is amazing how markets actually don't make too much sense. I've realized that there's a lot of people on blogosphere and YouTube that can bring value, and for that matter probably a lot more than I can, like Steve Van Meera and also even Gregory Mannarino, which I've been kind of following on and off for years, but I've actually gone back to follow him. He seems, who am I to say that, but he seems like all over the place, but he actually gets a lot of points correct. He is a trader, as he says he is, so he's got some credibility there, so why not? The stuff that he's talking about, the say conspiracies, I don't think is too wrong about too many of them, unfortunately, and the markets just actually don't make sense. He says it himself. The stock market is going up while the economy is tanking. We've seen that with the property market for years. The yields have been dropping, yet the property prices continue to go up, because it's not just about the fundamentals, what you can get back from that property, it's what you're doing with your money. Who's investing in the property? For example, in Australia and the Western countries, it was a lot of it laundered money from a particular part of the world. I have spoken about that before, and the property prices currently don't seem to be dropping that much yet. If you're a property investor, you either have your property empty, or if it's not empty, your rent is dropping. I kind of vowed to some sort of confidentiality, but I'm not going to reveal much more, but let's say a friend of mine was able to, and I know a lot of people who have negotiated their rents down, no issues whatsoever, because the landlords know that if you were to leave, they'd have huge trouble finding someone, and they'd probably have to drop the rents down to at least to where the offer was initially by the existing tenant. So there's no security for your the amount of rent you can charge for it. There's very little, there's no guarantees in life, but there's really very little to say that you will actually rent it unless you, or lease it out, unless you drop the rent. Yet the property prices I don't seem to be dropping down as fast as some of us would have expected. I know it's a slow process. Property moves slowly. They will try any sort of stimulus to get the last people who could never actually get into the property market to do so, with low deposits, with low interest rates, honeymoon deals and that sort of stuff. So they'll kind of keep it going for a little bit longer, but it becomes even more obvious that you don't have to live in Sydney, for example, or Melbourne, if anyone wants to live there for much longer, to be close to work. I know myself, for months now we've been working from home, and we've been given an option to say we want to work from home permanently. You know, people keep saying when all this is over, eventually will be over, but we're talking years. They're going to push that 9/11 type narrative for a long time. They're not going to let us go so easily. Melbourne is a test bed, unfortunately. That's all I'm going to say on that topic, to be honest. It's become so serious that they can put you away for a long time, at least kind of take you away, make your life unpleasant for just talking about it. There's a lot more people who are much better researched, and not just that, but they're much braver than I am and prepared to talk about it. I know that inside the corporate world that I'm part of, that is probably wouldn't be looked at favorably. So I don't want to jeopardize my current position. Not that I'm any high position, but we know that the corporate environments are totally leftist, and they, even if you think a certain way, you have to go mainstream. So I'm going to have to stay mainstream with that, or just not talk about it. But I'll be perfectly honest. There's fewer and fewer channels that I follow on YouTube as far as the finance. I don't think many know what they're talking about. I'm certainly one of them, but at least I admit it, where most people just put their face in front of the camera and speak about something as if it's a done deal. We know that the gold and silver, it's always going to go up, and nothing ever always goes up. Everyone's got some sort of agenda. I don't. I just wish that some of the things about the current CV thing don't turn out as it seems they might. and they are. I would never want to live in a city like the Melbourne is now, and before you say it's not going to last forever and they're going to drop their numbers and their restrictions have eased, think again and just go and watch this video again, because they're not going to let it go so easily. There's much more behind it, and they keep confusing us. Trump is our man behind people, and next thing he wants us to wear masks, and then he's got the warp speed vaccine. It just completely doesn't make sense. They want to keep us confused, and that will obviously keep the markets confused, because markets tend to follow these things. So when you think, oh, you know, they're going to have a vaccine, which means that the markets are going to pump, they might just turn around within a day and a half and just say, no, that was false. It turned out it's not going to work. They have major problems with it, and we are 6 to 12 to 18 months away from it. They can spin anything and spit anything out there in the mainstream and control it either way. So when it's looking it's going to go that way, it might not. And guess what? The elections on the 3rd of November in America, in the United States, I mean, if you think that Biden's going to win, guess what happened last time? We thought that Hillary was going to win. Everything was showing Hillary as coming on top, and did she come on top? No, she didn't. So why do we think that now it could be different? Will it be exactly the same? Well, there's only 50% chance to be right or wrong about who wins. But somehow I think that the incumbent is going to stay in there, although it's, you know, it's presented to us as if the Democrats and the Biden are going to come over and replace Trump. But there'll be a lot more to it. I don't think it'll be a clear victory, and as Martin Armstrong says, whoever wins, the other side is not going to concede, and that'll be trouble. There'll be uncertainty. So if a day after the elections you don't know who won, and then potentially weeks or months, that's not good. That's not good for anyone. It's kind of a limbo situation, and that's where I'll leave it. I'll talk to you soon. I'll post this as soon as I hit stop. Okay, thanks for watching. Talk to you soon. Bye. Oh, and also I'm just going to stitch this second video on the end of the original. I forgot to mention that if you are a property investor, that not only your rent is either dropping or your place is empty and you can't find the tenants. If you're lucky enough to find the tenants for a low rent, the government can turn around, declare some pandemic and say, well, your tenants don't have to pay. They can stay in there. Lucky you got tenants in your place, but they don't have to pay rent. It's not even a postponement of rent. It's just for as long as this pandemic is on, and if they lost their job and prove that such and such, you can't evict them, and they stay in your property, so you keep paying your mortgage and all the other bills, but yeah, your tenants live in your place for free. So it's a no-brainer whether you want to put your money in there. If you're a first home owner, I think, as I mentioned, the property doesn't seem to be dropping as fast as we expected it, but it is going to be dropping. It can't go up because we're not going to have a boom in jobs. We can just at best get back the jobs we lost. Otherwise, when everyone comes back, it'll be less. People will get paid less once they return to office, and some already have taken pay cuts. So I'm sorry to be negative, but it's just reality. All right, for now, and definitely bye now. Bye.